Our final race action of the day here on the majestic Grand Prix circuit at Brands Hatch is the second race for the JCW class of the Mini Challenge. They had a phenomenal race earlier on today, and we are hoping for even more now in this reverse grid race that we've got, a partially reverse grid race anyway. The top 10 finishers from race number 1 get reversed to form the grid for race 2, and a big crowd still on hand, sticking around right to the end of the day to enjoy this one. Max Bird was the lucky man then who inherits pole position with James Lukes alongside him on the front row. Richard Newman and Rory Cuff will be on row 2 together. Third row of the grid is where we find Ben Palmer. He could be a potential winner, with James Gornall likewise second in the championship. Needs a good result after this one. Harry Gooding 7th and Lee Patterson in 8th position. Then the top 2 from race 1. Nathan Harrison, the championship leader, by 36 points now over James Gornall, with Dan Zelos, the race 1 winner, his first win of the year, rounding out the top 10 on the grid. Matthew Wilson and Lewis Brown are on row number 6 together, and then row 7 for James Griffith and Neil Trotter, who was actually 15th in race earlier on. Then it is Keenan Dole, who started in the pit lane with a 10-second penalty and still managed to claw his way up the order. Josh Stanton shares the 8th row with him. William Newnham and Stuart Gibbs are on the 9th row of the grid, with Jonathan Benson and Lewis Gayler, the last of the finishers from race 1. Then we've got the list of retirements. Tom Rawlings and Brad Hutchison were both non-finishers. They went off at paddock and brought about a red flag. Jack Davidson likewise. Callum Newsham, was the other driver who was in the gravel at Paddock Hill Bend. Will Hardy and James McIntyre also both failed to reach the flag. So that's how your 26-car grid lines up. The championship situation then, you score 50 points for winning the race and 6 points for setting the fastest laps. There are 56 points available per race, and after this one we still have another 4 races to go. So obviously the title won't be settled today, but James Gornall, the man who led in the early stages of the season, 2 wins from the first 3 races and wasn't off the podium in the first 5 races of the year, then had a non-finish at Silverstone, and that seemed to maybe have an effect on him. He had his second non-podium finish at Donington, won at Brands Hatch on the Indy circuit at Minifest a few weeks ago, but then a pair of 5th places in the 2 most recent races, race 3 from that weekend and race 1 from this weekend, suggests that Brands Hatch is not necessarily turning into the happiest of hunting grounds for James Gornall, where he has won in the past in other categories. Former champion in the British GT Championship was James Gornall as well, back in 2008, so we know he's a very, very quick driver, but just the last couple of rounds haven't really gone his way. What can he do then, I wonder, from 6th on the grid? The yellow machine will keep an eye on him and everybody else as they prepare to make the plunge through Paddock Hill Bend for 20 minutes of racing in the JCW class of the Mini Challenge. On the front row of the grid, Max Bird and James Lukes. The revs start to rise, the red lights go out, away they go. Good start made by both the front row men. It's also a good start made from 4th place on the grid by Rory Cuff, who made a good getaway in the previous race. And James Gornall dives to the inside into Paddock Hill Bend. That's risky, but he has to try and make some progress, and he's into 5th place already on the inside of Richard Newman. Where's Nathan Harrison? About where he started on the grid, I think. There was someone sideways, I think, further back, but everyone is through safely. And into Drury's. There's Nathan Harrison. Look at the inside of Dan Zelos. The 2 greeny colour car there was a car off, and it was number 46, I think, Stuart Gibbs, who's had a not brilliant day, it must be said. Down into Graham Hill Bend now then. Do they all get through here in one piece on cold tyres? Looks like they will do so far. And then down towards Surtees, where Max Bird is defending his lead then from James Lukes in 2nd position, 3rd Rory Cuff, 4th Ben Palmer, 5th is James Gornall, then a gap back to Newman and Gooding, 6th and 7th. I reckon Harrison's still 9th, and Zelos I think is still 10th, so they haven't made any ground up at all. James Gornall has gained 1 position, and Max Bird now about to potentially lose the race lead because James Lukes has a big look round the outside. James Lukes had a good start in race number 1, and then went off at clearways early on and lost a lot of ground, was able to claw his way back to 10th, and that was the magic number. It gave him pole position, but Max Bird, off has gone number 17 then. That's Brad Hutchison, who's off. I'm struggling to pick out where that was. Exit of Surtees, I think. So into Stirling's they go then, and Max Bird, it was Max Bird of course, sorry, who actually ended up on the pole position, but it was originally James Lukes that finished 10th place in race 1. There was then a change to that result after the race, which means that actually it was Bird in 10th. He got the pole position and he will lead the opening lap, but only just. James Lukes is on his rear bumper. Top 5 cars, in fact, together as they come across the start-finish line then to complete lap number 1. Does anyone make a move into Paddock Hill Bend? James Lukes thinks about it. Rory Cuff goes for it up the inside. Beautiful move that by Rory Cuff into 2nd spot. and that was squeaky clean as well. There may have been a tiny room on the way through, but you can't really argue with that. And James Lukes finds himself down to third position, nudges the back of the Cuff car through Druid's corner. James Gornall, by the way, is ahead of Ben Palmer as well. Didn't see where that happened, but Gornall, yeah, he was ahead at the line actually as well. Oh, and a car off there. Now, who was that? Was that it's Cuff, Rory Cuff from second position. Has spun at Graham Hill Bend, I don't believe it, after he just made a peach of a move into Paddock Hill Bend, has thrown it all away, and there's another car off. Now that is an odd place to end up, that's coming out of Surtees. It's about where Brad Hutchison was off, I think, as well, so maybe the two are linked. That was like a fairly significant off for who didn't come through. Matthew Wilson, I think that was. Gordon up the inside of Lukes into Hawthorns. They hold each other up though, and Ben Palmer sees the chance, goes around the outside of James Gordon. Can he muscle his way through into third position? Gordon has to back out of it. So that's a prime example of how at Hawthorn, if you go for a move that doesn't work, you're likely to end up being under pressure for the next couple of corners because it's such a momentum sequence of corners. Next car behind, all over the curb and the grass there is Lee Patterson, I think. Yeah, it is, number 69, Lee Patterson, who's sort of arrived out of nowhere. He's passed Richard Newman on this lap. That's Stuart Gibbs, is it, that's parked to the side of the road? Right, what happened to Rory Cuff? Touches the curve. Oh, he got a boot from James Lukes, who'd taken a nibble out of the rear bumper through the previous corner, and then did nerf him into a spin. Now, I don't think that was intentional, at least I hope it wasn't, but I fear there may be a discussion about that post-race. Right, leading pack come back through. Max Bird with a 0.9 second lead. Harry Gooding there trying to get up the inside of Richard Newman for 6th position. With Nathan Harrison still struggling a little in 8th place then. Dan Zelos 9th. They both gained 1 position, of course, after Rory Cuff's spin, but that's the only position they've gained. They might be able to take advantage of this situation developing in front of them, though. Harry Gooding there trying to force the issue around the outside at Druids. Can't do it there. Tries to get to the inside, but the line was covered by Richard Newman. Now, this is starting to stack up here, and with Nathan Harrison, the championship leader, right in the middle of it, that's not really where he wants to be. Lewis Brown doesn't particularly want to be on the grass down the Cooper Straight either. But that's exactly where he found himself being squeezed. That was Keenan Dole that he was trying to get up the inside of. Max Bird then leading the way. What's Max's best finish of the year so far? 5th in the first race back at Alton Park. So the season started off with much promise, but hasn't really delivered a huge amount since then. He's not had a podium yet, and now he's leading the way about a quarter of the way into this reversed grid race at the end of the day. Down to Westfield again then. Bird leading, Luke 2nd, Palmer 3rd, Gornall 4th, and Patterson in 5th. That's your lead pack. And then the gap back to Richard Newman, who is rather the cork in the bottle there in 6th position, and that's where I sense something might happen before too much longer, because he's really defending and holding everybody up. But there you can see that's where Harrison and Zelos, the top two from race 1, have found themselves. And with Nathan Harrison, the championship leader by 36 points, he can little afford any issues. Ben Palmer nearly had an issue there as he got a wheel in the grass coming out of clearways. So James Gornall now moves on to his boot lid into Paddock Hill Bend. Palmer gets the inside line covered. Gornall all over the curb, bounces down Paddock Hill, back up the other side, and maybe an opportunity for Lee Patterson, trying to get to the inside, then goes to the outside. Someone's off behind. Who's that? Who's that? It's, is that, yeah, well, 36 that's gone off, is it? 56? No. Who was that went off? I can't see the number on the screen in front of me, but someone's been right through the gravel. Here we go. This might piece things together a little bit more. It was someone... they were further back than I thought they were, so I think that was Newnham, wasn't it? 36 that has been off at Paddock Hill Bend. We'll go with that. I'm pretty sure that's who it was, number 36, but it was covered in that much dust. I couldn't really see the numbers on the side of the car. I thought for a horrifying moment it might have been one of our contenders in the next group. I think there has been some changing though in that 6th place battle. I'm pretty sure Nathan Harrison had gained a spot. I think he's 7th now. There's been a shuffle somewhere. Yeah, there's a car between Harrison and Zelos now, which I think might be Harry Gooding. Try and get a glimpse of them in a moment if we can. There go the leading 5 then, through shot, and there's Nathan Harrison, look, trying to pull alongside Richard Newman now, so he's going for 6th place. Needs to try and get this done quickly and then go after the cars in front. It is Gooding that he's gone past. So Gooding's dropped back now behind Nathan Harrison, but still ahead of Dan Zelos. So Harrison into 7th place then. That 7th place would be worth 30 points. That's still going to be less than Gornall, but Gornall, of course, is only 4th at the moment, so he's on 37. So at the moment, he'd only lose 7 points to his championship rival, and now make that even less because he's gone past Richard Newman now. As Max Bird loses the race lead, James Lukes has gone through, but Bird will try and fight on the inside again towards Druid's Corner. Neither of these drivers have ever won a race in the Mini Challenge JCW class, and then now contesting the lead here in race number 2 at Brands Hatch. Lukes has gone back through. There might be a gap on the inside into Graham Hill Bend for Max Bird. No, he can't do it. Ben Palmer, meanwhile, back ahead of James Gornall now, then 3rd and 4th, those two, with Lee Patterson in 5th, all of them still right together, but Nathan Harrison into 6th position will no doubt be trying to catch this group as quickly as possible because he could see an opportunity here to actually take points out of James Gornall. Fastest lap, by the way, belongs to Harrison as well. He set it on the previous lap. That's worth 6 championship points, and that's not to be sniffed at either. 1:37.828. Fastest lap in race 1 was a 36.7 there, so we're over a second away from that pace. Ben Palmer now then moves on to the tail of Max Bird. Ben Palmer has had 3 victories this year, and they're his only 3 podium appearances. Here's a replay. Lukes was quite close, but that was still a brave move. That's a very similar move to the one that Rory Cuff made on him a few laps earlier. And Lukes goes ahead. There may be a little cloud underneath this provisional victory. Palmer's got 2nd place, by the way, ahead of Max Bird, and unfortunately, Bird's time on the podium has come to an end because Gornall's gone through, and so too Lee Patterson. So Max Bird fails to find himself a perch on the podium this weekend, and he's getting there, isn't he? The pace has been good this year, but just a little inconsistent, really. Across the line they go then. He's down to 5th, and Nathan Harrison is now only 7/10 behind him and has now done a 1:37.1. That's more like it. That is quite comfortably the fastest lap of the race. In fact, I think that's over a second or about 7/10 quicker than anyone else has gone. Dan Zelos behind him, in fact, also set a personal best lap. That was 7/10 slower than Harrison, but should still be good enough for the 2nd fastest lap of the race, potentially. 2nd or 3rd, anyway. We'll get to that later on in the race if it ever calms down enough that I can do the calculations. On the Cooper Straight they go. Lukes, having got the lead, is not really pulling away all that rapidly, is he here? I think Ben Palmer and James Gornall probably are quicker. Have they got the time to... Well, they've definitely got the time. There are 11 minutes left in the race. Nathan Harrison's still got time to win the race at this rate. Certainly he's got time to catch this man, James Gornall. Zelos, remember, is 3rd in the championship as well, but a further 24 points behind James. So, at the moment, James Gornall is at least set to solidify his 2nd place in the points, but whether or not he's able to close in on this man, Nathan Harrison, the championship leader, awaits to be seen. Harrison looks like he might be able to score more points out of this race yet. He's up behind Max Bird now. Hobson skips his way over the curb, Bird's onto the grass. He has dirty tyres again into Sterling's. Zelos is also now starting to join in as well. 1.2 seconds was the gap between Harrison and Zelos, but on this lap, Zelos was a couple of tenths quicker, nearly 3 tenths quicker, in fact, in the middle sector alone, because Harrison's now getting well and truly held up by Max Bird. So across the line they go then. Nathan Harrison looking for 5th position, goes to the outside. Is that a dummy? Yes, it is. Tries to then throw it up the inside into Paddock Hill Bend. Max Bird's seen him coming, leaves him room, and that was another really good move on the brakes there into the first corner, Paddock Hill Bend. So Harrison moves ahead, 5th place now for Nathan. So 5th place would score him 34 points. James Gornall in 3rd position would score 40 points. So that's a 6-point gain for Gornall, but it won't be because at the moment Harrison is on for more fastest lap bonus points. I think Gornall has got the 2nd fastest lap now by the looks of it. Just about, I think. So Harrison will only take a couple of extra points out of Gornall then from fastest lap. Stays in 3rd, but now Nathan Harrison is with Lee Patterson and challenging 4th position, so through Hawthorne again. Top 5 or nearly 6 cars now together, because Dan Zelos will be there by the end of the lap. In the first sector, he's 2 tenths quicker than Harrison, with a personal best in the first sector, actually. So Zelos, if he doesn't catch them too soon, might be able to improve on his personal best lap, which is now the 2nd fastest lap of the race. So Harrison's got the fastest lap. Zelos has the 2nd fastest, a 37.3. The next best appears to be a 37.5 for Gornall, so he's scoring 2 less bonus points than Nathan Harrison, the championship leader. He might be about to lose a few more points as well, because Lee Patterson is really giving him a work over now. And of off-the-clock curve again. Nathan Harrison, will he try another move up the inside into paddock? Lee Patterson, though, has seen it all before. He knows when he needs to defend, and now is definitely a time that he needs to defend, which he does successfully into Paddock Hill Bend. Dan Zelos now also a part of this train of cars. More cars that get added to the group, the bigger the explosion will be when something goes wrong. That's my worry. Ben Palmer, though, has escaped from them and has caught the race leader, James Lukes. All of a sudden, Ben Palmer has really found some speed, and James Lukes has some pressure, but Palmer does not, because Gornall's dropped back from defending from Patterson. So Palmer's got free attack here, free rein to attack the back of the number 35 car to try and get the lead away without fear of James Gornall challenging him behind. Battle for the lead then, down Pilgrim's Drop, under the bridge, past one of many stricken cars out on the Grand Prix circuit. Can Palmer take his 4th victory of the year? Looked as though when he won those 2 races at Silverstone, it did look as though he was going to be championship material maybe, but then didn't get back on the podium again until the 3rd race at Brands Hatch last time out. So he went 5 races where admittedly he wasn't out of the top 6 finishers, but you need to be regularly on the podium and really winning races, at least 1 race every meeting, to be genuinely in contention for the title in this very competitive championship. And Palmer then not been able to do that this year, but he is 4th in the championship, so that's not too shabby. Can he get the victory though? 5 minutes and change left on the clock, and Palmer's closer than ever this time into Paddock Hill Bend. Does he make a dive up the inside? We know Lukes is good on the brakes though. James gets into the corner first, doesn't run wide either, and now Palmer is starting to lose time to James Gornall. And Lee Patterson just set the fastest middle sector of anybody on that lap, but he's about to lose 4th place because Harrison's up the inside, is he? No, Patterson sails it in. You can carry a lot of speed into that corner because it's uphill. The race leaders are heading downhill into Graham Hill Bend, and things almost did go downhill for James Lukes there because he very nearly got a tap in the tail from Ben Palmer, and now James Gornall is a part of the lead battle once more. It's 3 for the lead and 3 for 4th place then behind Patterson, Harrison and Zelos. Both of those battles containing championship contenders, but Gornall, the one that really would like to try and get himself a bit further up this podium. Seemed to get a good exit from Surtees though. I've noticed that on a couple of occasions in this race. So Lukes, Palmer and Gornall then, still your leading trio. Palmer with a little peek to the inside there into Westfield. Rear suspension really hard at work through that right-hander, over the curbs, through the bumps, and they pop back into view again. Such a dramatic sequence of corners there. Palmer sideways there through Sheen. That's not a corner you want the rear of the car to be misbehaving at. But the Jamsport machine of Ben Palmer looking for a way through. Jamsport, the team run by Jamie Going, more well known for running Ford Fiestas really in that one-make championship, but expanding now into Clios and the Mini Challenge. And their car going well in the hands of Ben Palmer here. There is Nathan Harrison, who has a look to the inside of Patterson, but stays in 5th for now. Patterson sideways wide of the apex through paddock. A couple of laps to go still in this race though, not making just the 2, so running out of time now. Desperation might start to set in. Palmer still on the tail of James Lukes, down into Graham Hill Bend, over the curb. Gornall still in touch, but then Dan Zelos has sort of fallen back now in 6th place, so it is once again sort of 5 cars out in front. But Zelos, maybe he's running out of tyres, maybe he's had a moment somewhere that we haven't seen, I don't know, but he's definitely not as quick as the cars in front of him, despite the fact they're scrapping with each other slightly, although not quite as hard as they were a couple of laps ago. Through Hawthorne then, 2.5 minutes left on the clock. James Gornall looking to try and attack Ben Palmer. You sense that if he does start attacking Ben Palmer, that will let James Lukes off the hook, rather. So right now, Gornall is Luke's best friend. But Ben Palmer, at certain parts of the track, does seem able to reel in the leader again. Certainly through Sheen Curve there, he was quicker, and into Sterling's. Out over the curb, back down the straight towards Clearways. So then we are going to get an extra lap in, aren't we? Actually 2 minutes left on the clock, and they're lapping in the 1 minute 37 and 38. So 2 more laps of this to go. 2 more laps left for James Lukes to defend for his first ever podium and indeed first ever victory in the JCW class of the Mini Challenge. 0.289 seconds all that separate the top 2. The top 6 are covered by, well, top 5 covered by 1.3 seconds. Harrison looked to be attacking Patterson again there. It goes to the inside at Druids, just trying to force Patterson to defend and maybe outbrake himself. Doesn't happen though. Oh, Lukes is slow off the corner though. Ben Palmer is now fully alongside, but it's the outside line. Oh, there's contact! Oh, they both go off! James Lukes is off with Ben Palmer as well. The top 2 have taken each other off, and James Gordle inherits the race lead. Incredible stuff. James Gordle, you couldn't have scripted that, slips through the drama and gets the lead of the race. Palmer kept trying. He was quicker off Druids on a number of occasions. This time he got fully alongside. But in fairness, James Lukes did seem to squeeze him towards the grass. We'd have to see that again, but that looked a little bit avoidable, I have to say. We'll see it again, but unfortunately, James Lukes now will not be the race winner. Here it is again. Look, Palmer much quicker off Druids, gets to the right-hand side of the road. Now, the road bears left here, and Palmer was almost on the grass anyway. Lukes could have left him more room, and I don't think they're going to be too pleased with each other because it's cost them both a real chance now of a good result. So the new order, Gordle leads the way, Patterson is second, and Nathan Harrison, of course, also benefits from that and moves into 3rd place. And now Lee Patterson wants a race victory. Lee Patterson has already had his first podium of the year so far in race number 1 today. Have his previous best being a pair of 6th place finishes earlier on this year. Now he wants a win, but he's dropped back again as they go into clearways. Nathan Harrison trying to get up the inside through Clark Curve. No, not quite. Wipes the nose of the number 27 car across the back of Lee Patterson's machine as they go on to the final lap of the race with 10 seconds to spare. What has been another cracking instalment of the JCW Mini Challenge in 2019, and James Gordle is now starting to scoot away as Lee Patterson puts on a defensive drive to try and keep Nathan Harrison and Dan Zelos at bay. So Zelos has also managed to pick his way through here. Could now be on for, well, certainly 4th, maybe a 3rd place finish. So Gordle on for the 50 points for the win. Harrison at this rate would score himself 40 points. That's a 10-point swing in the favour of Gordle. Take away a couple of points because of the fact that Harrison's fastest lap is quicker than Gordle's. So you're looking at about an 8-point gain. So it's going to come back under 30 points, I think, between the top 2 as we head to the penultimate meeting of the year at Donington Park. This championship does not actually get decided at Donington Park. They have an extra round then in October at Snetterton, so that will be where the championship gets settled, but we'll see the penultimate round at Donington Park once again with the British GT package, where James Gordle will look to continue this progress he's been making. Oh, that's a shame. That is Jack Davidson off, the man who started on the 2nd row of the grid. But James Gordle, against all odds, is going to come through to take his 4th race victory of the season. Turns into the final corner now, and James will admit, I think himself, that that was a fortunate victory, but a victory nonetheless. Comes out of the final corner, sees the checkered flag, and wins the 2nd race here at Brands Hatch. 2nd goes to Lee Patterson, 3rd Nathan Harrison, and 4th for Dan Zelos. 5th position then for Max Bird, 6th Harry Gooding. Good battles to the line here. I think this is Lewis Gayler possibly trying to gain some ground. Let's see what order this lot will come across the start-finish line. It is Keenan Dole, in fact, who dropped to 10th on the last lap. Lewis Brown got ahead of him, but he did manage to fend off Lewis Gayler and James Lukes, who ended up 12th. Ben Palmer ended up 8th after their tangle on the penultimate lap. So James Gordle then takes the victory. Lee Patterson in 2nd place, and Nathan Harrison on the podium as well from 9th on the grid. Dan Zelos likewise came from 10th to finish 4th. Max Bird was 5th. Harry Gooding, Richard Newman, Ben Palmer 8th after that tangle with James Lukes, whilst Lewis Brown and Keenan Dole round out the top 10. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you've enjoyed yourself. But for now, from everyone here at Brands Hatch, it's goodbye.